Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of One Man Stream. Today's episode is entitled vMix UTC Production Console, and what we're going to do is we are going to build this console that you see right over my shoulder. We're going to build it step by step. I'm going to show you each widget that we use along the way, and that's going to be the focus of today's tutorial. I'll also touch upon a couple things having to do with AudioBusses and the AudioBus Manager, and so we'll tackle that today as well. So we're going to have that and so much more for you on today's episode of One Man Stream. Okay, so if you look right up here at the top, you can see where we have NDI Monitor Preview and NDI Monitor Program. And we did a tutorial a while back that really detailed this pretty well. So if you want to be able to do this from scratch and you're not familiar with the NDI Monitor, or you come into some issues with setting up the NDI Monitor in your vMix UTC production, you can reference those tutorials and it should help you out with that. So what you would have to do to set these up is you would go up here under Widget and you would click on Widget. And then you would come down here to where it says External Data, and then you would click on NDI Monitor. So we're going to put in a really small NDI monitor right here. After you bring this in, you need to go to the cog right here, and the tutorial that I referenced will explain all this, but click on the cog, and you're going to need one more file, and this file is included in your vMix UTC download, and it's this right here where it says vMix UTC NDI Monitor Data Provider. What you want to do is you want to highlight that and you want to click Open and click OK. And then you're going to come over here to this drop-down menu, and any of the NDI outputs that you have active in vMix or anywhere on your network, as you can see I've got several different computers on this network here, they're all going to show up. So what I want to use is I want to use Preview, and I know on this computer right here it's this one that says S17G8OM. Output 1 is Program and output 2 is Preview. So let's go ahead and click on this, and you can see where it brings in the preview, which is identical to what we have right here. So that's how we set this one up. To set this other one up over here that's in program, you would do it the exact same way, except when you're selecting what you want to have display, instead of selecting output 2, you would select output 1. So when I change that, you can see now where it goes to program. This next section of buttons to the right of the two NDI monitors, these are the master bus, the master audio, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different buses set up here, which are entitled A through E. And you'll see on this button right here, if I click it, it's going to take me down to 75%, and if I click this right here, it's going to mute it. Now when I mute it, you can see that slider goes all the way down. We can go ahead and click right here where this is green, and that's going to turn the that particular audio input off as well. You can see when the red comes on that the meter drops down to nothing. Well, let's take a look at these two buttons and see well, first of all, let's look at this button right here. All these are going to be the same, except we're going to be, instead of using the master, we're going to select a particular bus for these other inputs. But on this one here, let's click on the cog. And what I did here is I checked this toggle mute, and then I put in here a link that says mute master, since this is the master audio that we're working with. Under target, we have a drop-down menu. I chose master. You can choose an individual input, and that's actually what we're going to use down here on these other ones, or you can choose whichever one of the buses that you have activated in your production. So on this one here, this one's master. So let's go ahead and we're going to right click on this, and we're going to toggle the caption to bring the caption on, and then we're going to click the cog for this. And you can see what we did here is we're setting bus X volume. So we're setting the volume on bus X, and in this case X is referring to the master volume, and we're going to set it to 75%. This would be a number between 0 and 100. 0 would be essentially muting it, and 100 would be the maximum amount of volume that you can get out of this input. So what we have this one up set for is 75. So I'm going to manually turn the volume all the way up, And when I click that button, you can see where it drops down to 75. Now, I already showed you, if I click it again, it's going to go to 0. So let's take a look at this particular button. Again, we're using the set bus X volume, and I said we can use a number between 0 and 100, so we'll use 0, and it's going to take the master volume, which is what X is referring to here, down to 0. So let's move over one. This one here is bus A. So what I'm going to do, just for demonstration's sake, the master audio in master, and I'm also going to put it in A. You would go down to the hamburger menu, which is right here, and you would click on this, and then what you would want to click on is the audio bus manager. So what I just did directly by using the buttons within the audio fader, what I'm going to do is you can go to the audio bus manager, and you can also manipulate it this way as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and click on bus A, and you can see as soon as I click on this, the audio on bus A starts clipping up and down. I click it again, and it's going to go out. So this is a very quick way, after you get all your inputs set up, you can bring in your audio bus manager, and then you can assign it to the different audio buses that you would like. So this is another way that you can adjust the audio within vMix. One more thing I'm going to show you, since we have this look right here, is I'm going to go to settings, and I'm going to go to audio, and let's go to audio outputs. And you can see right here, I have A, B, and C enabled, and you can see those reflected right here, A, B, and C. If I wanted to activate some more of these buses, I can do that, and you just click the drop-down menu, and you would select enabled right here. On my mixer that I have here in the studio, I have these different channels. So I have 1 and 2, I have 3 and 4, 5 and 6, 7, 8, 9 and 10, and so forth. So I could actually assign this to a particular bus if I wanted to, and this is kind of the theme or the idea that you would use to set up a talkback channel within your studio. So what you would have to do is, if I wanted to enable D, E, F, and G, I would click it from being none to enabled, and then after this I would have to click OK. Now, in order to activate these, you're actually going to have to restart your system. So I'm not going to do that right now because I don't want this to come to a screeching halt. But anytime you make any changes to the audio output, you're going to have to restart your vMix production. So this is bus A. And you can see we toggled this, we checked this toggle muted button, and then we put in here this link, mute bus A. One of the reasons that you would want to do it this way is within vMix UTC, you can always use the execute link command, and by setting up a button executing link, you could mute particular buses or whatever buses you set up under that execute link command, or you could mute all the buses if you wanted to do that. You could also do it by setting up the mute master. So this one is set for bus A. So these other ones I'm just going to go ahead and show you. This one here is set up for bus B. Again, we put the link in here that says mute bus B. So this one right here would be, we would set this up for bus C, this one for bus D, and this one for bus E. And again, we would be putting those same commands in here where we're setting the bus volume. On these, we would make sure that we selected bus B for this one, bus C for this one, bus D for this one, and bus E for this one. And then again, on these mute commands, we're going to make sure that under the level, we're putting it in a 0, and that's going to take the audio level down to 0 for these. Now, these next buttons over here, I actually created these buttons, and these are very easy to do. I actually did it in GT Title Designer. I made these buttons, and I bring them in. On the buttons themselves, you would right-click, toggle caption, and on this one right here, I have it set up for a one-man stream logo. So the command that I have is cut direct. So if I clicked on this right now, it would bring a one-man stream logo in here. So let's go ahead and see what happens there. And you can see how that logo came in. Now this right here is preview. So all these buttons are going to be cut direct, and it's going to cut directly to whatever we have put in for this particular input. And this one right here, this is going to preview. So we're going to use a different command on this one. As you remember, this command here was cut direct. And this command we're going to use on this row of buttons is preview input. So we're going to preview that same input. I'm going to go ahead and bring this into preview. Now when I click on this, it's going to bring in that one-man stream logo to preview. And if I wanted to go ahead and send that into program, I would use this button right here that says cut, and it takes it to program. So on all these right here, we're going to be using the command cut direct, and then we're going to link it to a particular input. On this row right here, we're going to use the command preview input, and then we're going to set this up to a particular input as well. So I'm going to jump all the way over here to the right side, and these are our video playback bays. So let's set up a couple lists real quick. This will be a nice little review for folks. So we're going to go ahead and let's go back to this. So this is the look that we had, and I'm going to set up a couple lists real quick. So I'm going to go over here to where this says lists, and then I'm going to click on, I've got two lists set up. I've got one set up on 34, and then I believe I'm going to get the other one set up on 32. So I'm going to go ahead and set this one up on 34. So I'm going to click add, and then I'm going to go to my server that I have set up here, and I'm going to select this right here, and I'm going to select all of these different videos that I have within this file folder. So I'm going to select the first one, I'm going to hold down the shift key, and then I'm going to select this one and click open. And you can see where it populates all these on list 34. Now, I've got an open input that I'm not using, so I'm going to come over here to input 30. I'm going to click on, nope, not input 30. Input 32. I'm going to click on that one, and then I'm going to click on the cog, and we get this box that comes up, and we're going to click on change, and we're going to change this from color to list. So we're going to click on list, and we're going to click OK. And then we're also going to make this just to cover up the whole thing widescreen. Okay, so this is going to be list 32. So now let's add some things to list 32. So we're going to go back to this folder right here, and we're going to choose this file instead, and we're going to load all of these guys. So I'm going to click the first one, hold down the shift key, come down here to where it says close, click open, and you can see where it brought all those in. So now we have them added to our vMix production. Now let's go ahead and connect it to our vMix UTC. So we've got these two over here. We're going to go up here to the cog and click on the cog. As you can see right now, I still have nothing in here at all, but that's because we haven't selected an input. So let's go ahead, and from the drop-down menu, we got to do one thing first. Within vMix UTC, anytime we add or change an input, we need to make sure that it's synced. So let's go up here and click on sync. There we go. Now we should be good. We're going to go up here and click on the cog. We're going to select the input. Our inputs are our two lists. So let's go to this first list right here. We're going to click on that. We're going to click OK, and boom. You can see how it populated all those videos over here in column A. We're going to do the same thing for column B. Let's click on this. We're going to choose our other list input. There was our first one we chose. That was number 32. This one's number 34. We're going to click on that, click OK. And then you can see where it brings all these in. All right, so we've shortened these up a little bit, and we're going to have to go back to this first one. We're going to click on the cog, and it brings in this, and we're going to click on this where it says play out, and we're going to put a link in here that says play VTRA. And I'll show you why we're going to do that in just a second. So we're going to come up here now, we're going to click on the widget button, and we're going to put us a play out button right here, and we're going to call it play A. And this is where we're going to use that link that we just created. So we're going to type in execute link, and then play VTRA, and click OK. And let's go ahead and make this white, just so that it stands out a little bit. and we'll bring it up here. So just to double check, we have this that says play VTRA, and we have the checkbox for play out. And now let's go ahead and select a different one. Let's select a short one. This should be a pretty short one. So we'll click on this one here, and then we're going to click play A.
You're watching Oldham High School's football on Glide.
So we're going to do the exact same thing for the other one, except when we come up here, we click on the cog. We are going to click on play out, and as you probably already figured out, we're going to call this one play VTRB, and click OK. And then we're going to duplicate this button, slide it over here, and change it to play B. And then we're going to have to change this command to play VTRB, and click OK. So now let's go ahead and select something in here. We'll select this one right here, and we'll go ahead and click on this button here that says play B.
Road, Jeffersonville.
UA Local 502 is offering great career opportunities for plumbers, pipe fitters, and HVAC technicians. They're seeking.
And you can see where it brings our commercial right in. Okay, the last thing that I want to show you is right over here. I mentioned it a little bit earlier. These right here at the top, this was master, and then it was the bus A, B, C, D, and E. These right here are the individual inputs. I have this one set up for VTRA and VTRB. So let's go ahead and set those up. I'm going to click on the cog, and under target we have input, and then we got to select the input, and this should be our first list, which is right here. So now what I'm going to have to do is go to a different look, so you're actually going to be able to see if this works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my vMix production, and I'm going to click on that particular input. I'm going to click on it to play, and you'll be able to see
36 West Highway 22,
where the audio starts playing within that input. I'm going to click on this button right here. You can see where it brings the audio down to 75%, and then I'm going to click on mute. And you can see when I click on this button that says mute, you can see where this green speaker right here is going to turn to red. So I'm going to click on mute, and you can see where it turns it off.
Need equipment with
and then when I turn it on again, it's gonna take it to green. These last buttons over here, these are the ones that control sending things to a program or preview or program. These are actually done using setting up transitions, and I have a tutorial on that as well. I would suggest watching that tutorial. If you haven't watched it, it has a lot of really good information on there about how to set up transitions, and I'll just go ahead and show you these first two right here. I'm going to right click on the button, click on toggle caption, then I'm going to click on the cog, and we have three commands we have to put in here. First, we have to select the effect and the transition channel, and then we have to select the duration, then we have to set the transition in motion. So for this one here, we're going to set the transition effect to a cut, and we're going to do it on transition 1. We have 4 transitions, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're going to do this on transition 1. We're going to set up a duration of 250 milliseconds, which is a quarter of a second, and then we're going to set the transition in motion. So we're going to click OK. Let's go ahead and bring in this into preview, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to click cut, and you can see where it brings that in. We have another function here that's dissolve, and what it does is it just kind of blends both of the outputs together. Again, we used the exact same setup. We used the exact same three commands. We used the set transition effect, set transition duration, and then transition. We're doing this on transition 2, and the effect that we're using is fade. we're using a much longer duration of 2000 milliseconds or 2 seconds. And again, we're doing this on transition 2. So let's go ahead and let's make this a little bit different. Let's go ahead and bring this one into preview. And let's go ahead and transition this one into program. You can see how it was much slower. And instead of that rapid cut like we placed on the first button right here, we had that slow dissolve where the where the preview slides over into program or dissolves into program. So that's how we set up this vMix UTC Production Console. This has been One Man Stream episode 113, and it's entitled vMix UTC Production Console. If you get a chance, please stop by our website. That's onemanstream.com. That's where we have our graphics store and more. We have the graphics that we've created during this tutorial journey, along with many of the vMix UTC controllers as well. We'll have this controller up on the website as well. And as always, thank you so much.